Hello guys, Raw Thoughts Footy here back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about how Ancelotti can succeed as the Everton manager. So what we know about Carlo Ancelotti is that he's a winner. He's one of only 3 managers to have won the Champions League 3 times. He's also one of only 2 managers to have managed in 4 Champions League finals. Straight away, what you can see that Carlo Ancelotti is a class manager. No one can deny that. He's got the silverware to back it up. And this is fantastic news for Everton fans because they finally have a manager who can actually take them to the next level, because they've been stuck in mid-table for the last few seasons and they haven't had a manager who can see the ambition of the football club. The last time that Everton were a threat was about 7 years ago in the 13-14 season, where Roberto Martinez was the first manager since the 70s to record the double over Manchester United in a season where they finished 5th. Now on to another manager who was loved by the Everton supporters, David Moyes. He was a fantastic manager for the club, and a memorable season for him was the 04-05 one, where he helped Everton reach the Champions League stage with a 4th finish, beating Liverpool to the 4th spot. So what we know so far is that Everton have really struggled in recent times. You have to go back to David Moyes and Roberto Martinez, the last time the club had any kind of success really. But with the appointment of Carlo Ancelotti, the future looks bright. And now we're going to move on to key players in the Everton side. So to kick things off, we're going to talk about arguably Everton's most important player and creator in the team, Luka Modric, who this season has 7 assists and 8 big chances created. The thing with Luka Modric as well is that his defensive numbers aren't too terrible either. He has 7 clean sheets, 73 tackles and 42 all this being in the Premier League as well, which is arguably the hardest league to play in. And here are a few stats. Here are his attacking contributions to the team, and shortly I'll show you the defensive ones. So you can see there as well, 93 clearances. He has more duels won than lost, and then 182 recoveries, which really is not too bad. So overall, what we can say about Luka Modric is that he's an accomplished fullback in the Premier League. To play in one of the hardest leagues in the world, arguably the hardest, I would say that he's the 2nd best left back, behind Andy Robertson. And just to show as well, last season he got 4 assists, and then the season just gone he got 7. So that's credit to Carlo Ancelotti for improving his numbers, doubling them. So now we're going to move on to Richarlison, who I think is an incredibly gifted striker. He's powerful, he can score with either feet, and he's got a great head on him. When I think about Richarlison last season, I just have a picture in my head. I can see him running into the box with a dive and header. You think about Sigurdsson's free kick, beautiful ball played in, and then Richarlison has the technique to header it. Richarlison has something that not many other strikers have, and I'll show it you now. Look at that. 4 goals with his head, 3 with his right, and 5 with his left. The boy has technique, he can score with anything, and he can create chances as well. Here you have 3 assists and 13 big chances created. He can provide for his team and he can finish off the chances. So with all that being said, I think that Everton can be very excited with Richarlison. I think that he has the potential to grow into a superb striker, and he has Carlo Ancelotti behind him who can just develop his game. Now this should get Everton fans really excited for the future. We're going to look at some players that Carlo Ancelotti has managed. Cristiano Ronaldo being the first one, arguably the greatest ever goal scorer we've ever seen play the game. And secondly, we have Robert Lewandowski, who is a superb finisher, who was sadly robbed of the Ballon d'Or this season, but we all know he deserved to win it. And finally, Dries Mertens, who is an accomplished striker for Belgium and Napoli, who scores all types of goals. What I can say is that these 2 boys here, they have endless potential with Carlo Ancelotti behind them. They have a lovely partnership together, they complement each other's play. And now I will talk about how I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin can help Everton next season. So last season, I think that Dominic Cavallo had a pretty good season. What I like about him is he's a big, tall striker who's pretty quick as well, so he can get in behind the defence And what I did like about him is he can hold up the ball quite well. So when you have support runners coming on, so say Richarlison on the right, and then you have a Sigurdsson in support, and then a Digne overlapping, Dominic CalvertLewin can hold up the play well, so he can get more of his teammates into the play. So a lot like Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin scores with his head and both feet, and you can see there he has about 40% of his shots on target, which is fantastic. Now this season he didn't really create much for his team. You can see there only one assist and one chance is created, but last season he did have a few more chances created. You can see his goals there last season. So he's really picked up. He's gone from 4 to 13 goals this season. And his chances created here, 6 assists and 6 big chances created last season, which shows that he's not just a goal scorer, but he can also provide chances for his team. Now, what I want to see from Dominic Calvert-Lewin next season is 10 plus goals in the league again. But then I want to see him getting them assists back from the season prior to last one. Because I think that if he can get the chances created and he can be finishing, he can really take his game to the next level. So there we've just seen 3 crucial players for Everton's system next season, and now we're going to move on to the next part of the video, which will be potential transfers. So the first transfer that we're going to be talking about is Allen, and obviously Allen has already played with Ancelotti, so Ancelotti knows what he's going to get from the midfielder. Allen is a high intense centre defensive mid who would really help reassure the central mid role in the Everton side. So you can't deny that the link with Ancelotti could really help the midfielder settle in, but I do have my concerns. So my main concern with Allen is that he's 29 years old, he's not getting any younger, and as you can now see in the 1920 season, he had a lot of injuries. He was injured for 61 days, and the injury that does stand out to me is the recurring knee injuries. So Allen's going to be your centre mid, he's going to be running around the pitch all day, making tackles. You need him to be intense as he can be, but what if his knee starts playing up? You really need to think about that. You need a midfielder that can play week in, week out, and I just don't really believe that Allen is going to be able to do that. Now we're going to move on to Doucouré from Watford. Now I think Doucouré is a very good player, and I think that he's proved himself in the last few seasons in the Premier League. I'd say that he's a much more attacking centre mid than Allen, but I would say that he does get back and do the defending as well. I think he's got a good engine on him, and he could really solidify that midfield role on your side. Now, what we need to remember with Doucouré is that he's playing for a relegated side, so he really shouldn't cost any more than about 30 million, which for a player of his calibre is an absolute bargain. We'll now take a dive into Doucouré's statistics from last season. So his defensive numbers here, you can see he has 64 tackles, 31 interceptions, 270 recoveries, and 31 clearances. So you can see that he does do the dirty work. And then you see here 4 goals for the lad, which is great. And then in a team like Everton, with more creative support, he could improve those numbers. And then you see 6 big chances created and 2 assists, which isn't great. But as I said before, you can imagine that he will improve those numbers in a better side. Now we're going to be looking at the last segment of the video, which will be Ancelotti's tactics for Everton. So this is how Everton will play in possession. So they got the 3-5-2, and what I love about this formation is the 2 wide fullbacks. So all game you'll have Digne and Sidibe running up and down the flanks, and as the chief creator in the side Digne, he has the freedom to pick out passes, play long balls and put in crosses. What I also like about this formation is the 2 up top. As I spoke about before, Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison have a lovely connection, and then them together getting the balls in from Digne and Sigurdsson really makes the team tick. So here we have Everton's formation out of possession. Now what I do like about this formation is you see the 2 wide midfielders. When a winger from the opposition is running in, they will support the 2 fullbacks so they won't be left alone. And I also like the pressing that this formation offers, with the 2 strikers will be pressing the back line and trying to force the defence into making mistakes. Now, all Everton fans will remember the game against Chelsea. Duncan Ferguson had the tactics totally right in this 4-4-2 formation. You pressed them off the park, and then I think you ended up beating them 4-0, which was a credit to you and a credit to the system, which Ancelotti also plays. So in conclusion, Everton fans, I think that you have a lot to look forward to in the years under Carlo Ancelotti. I think that the three key players that we spoke about will be crucial to how far you can reach next season. If I was making the decision between Alan or Decore, I would personally go for Decore because he is 2 years younger than Alan and he gets injured far less frequently. I think that with the right signings and consistency under Carlo Ancelotti, you can really push for a Europa League spot next season and then even challenge for the Champions League in years to come. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video today, especially the Everton fans. It's been Raw Thoughts Footy here. Have a good day. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.